Hello, everyone. I'm Dan, also known as Div and Ink. My pronouns are they and them, and I am playing the vagabond Dagmar Eriksson.
Hello, I am Matt. My pronouns are he, him, playing Quentin Ludensberg, the private detective.
Hi there, I'm Gus. My pronouns are he, him, and I'll be playing Morton Thornsby, the servant.
Our virtual tabletop tonight is the incredible Roll20, featuring their dynamic lighting feature, inbuilt character sheets, and virtual dice roller. Go check them out on roll20.net. And in addition, our battle maps were created using Dungeon Fog and all the amazing assets that can be found there.
Our character art was created by the extremely talented Shuja. Oh, we have technical difficulties.
We are a pro setup, I promise.
Yeah,
Okay, hold fast,
nothing
hold
but
fast.
pro.
Alright. Oh no, wait. Oh, coming. How's that? I'm gonna go with yes.
That's
So I
fine.
can still hear you, but
Yeah, we can hear
not
you.
the front.
Yeah, so.
We'll just have a session to ourselves.
So.
We'll infer everything Luke says.
The GM can't talk. Riot!
Oh,
Do what
okay.
we want.
We immediately get all the loot and the entirety of the case is solved.
And there was me.
Thanks,
I was
Luke.
over here, and I was like, I've done all the settings. I've changed the headset, the microphone, everything is ready. The guys can hear me. Everyone can hear me. This is great. And I didn't do it in OBS, so no one on the stream could hear me. The joys of technology. Hey, where were we up to?
I believe I will start from the top.
Oh, everyone
my
could
one.
hear you. You lot, just not me.
And I'll restart, otherwise if I start midway through, I've got to give the full oomph to Zhuzha. Our character art was created by the extremely talented Zhuzha, who you should go check out on Instagram at Zhuzha UK. That's ZSUZSAUK. Our game tokens and dice roller tokens come from the Vaesen RPG rulebook by Free League and from the artist Johan Egerkrans.
The music and ambient sounds throughout the stream come from Tabletop Audio and Kevin McLeod at Incompetech, all provided via the Roll20. You can check both of these amazing artists out via their websites at tabletopaudio.com and incompetech.com.
Good evening, and welcome to the Society. Our extremely professional weekly Vaesen RPG campaign. My name is Lucky, and I will be the game master for these dark and thrilling tales. Who clearly is a technical wizard and sets everything up perfectly first time round. It's with great pleasure that I welcome you to this, the second episode of Chapter 2, and I hope that we delight, frighten, intrigue you with mystery and adventure. That was a number of people that we wanted to say thank you for all the resources and contributions they have provided to tonight's episode. The link should appear in the Twitch chat or in the details below if you are catching up on YouTube. And all I can do is apologise for the technical sound issues. And I feel like issues that are likely to plague us for the entire evening, as I have changed my computer and desk setup. But welcome! We're here, and we are all together. Let's do a recap to catch everyone up on the goings on. In the previous episode, our investigators, our detective threesome, boarded a train to Herdal from the coast city of Bergen. It was a coincidental chain of events that brings our group together. A chance meeting aboard the train to Herdal. The journey, however, has been interrupted as the morning of the second day, the train is held at Borgen Station. Apparently, there has been a terrible crime, and on further investigation, our adventurers, our scallywags, discover a murder has occurred within the village. One of our crew, a Quentin Ludensberg, turns out to be a famous detective and is roped in to the investigation. As part of this investigation, our trio begin at the crime scene, at the house of Inga. It is during this investigation that we get a split party. Quentin and Morton go around the back, letting themselves in through the back door and beginning the investigation of the storeroom in Benedicta's house. They begin the investigation there as Dagmar goes in through the front. Dagmar finds themselves in a living space, a living room, dining room, filled with bookshelves with a number of interesting and fascinating books on a number of very peculiar subjects. It is one of these books that Dagmar takes a fancy to and decides that they will try and purloin the tome. Whilst trying to slip the tome into their knapsack, they hear a little voice from behind them, a little voice that says, "Is she gonna steal that book?" Followed by another smaller voice. "Don't be silly. They are gonna steal the book. Can't you see?" And as these two little voices ring out in the room, I'm going to click a number of buttons and see where we get to. And we will continue with our investigation. I have no idea if anything's working. Oh dear. Alright. Hopefully, everyone can see the battle map. Sorry, I'm hearing voices in my head giving me technical advice, as there are a few more technical issues occurring.
Quickly deal with a technical issue of my own, which is a child's toy that is repeatedly roaring. That'll be 2 seconds.
Rawr.
Rawr!
Okay, I guess it's on Dagmar to react to something then once we're ready to go.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Are we all present and correct?
Present, correct,
Present.
and currently moving.
Okay. And so as these two little voices ring out in the room, it's over to Dagmar.
So hearing these odd little voices, Dagmar's going to quickly make sure their bag is sealed, swing round, and try and find out where these voices are coming from.
Okay. As
So,
Dagmar...
I guess
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was going to ask the question, what does Dagmar see?
As Dagmar swings around to look into the room, there are two little beings over by the fireplace. Let me see if I can pop these tokens up for you so that everyone can get a good view. Okay, so there are two little figures wearing two they're wearing folk clothing, and it is a quite verdant green colour. There is a little one wearing a little green dress, around the edges of which is a decorative trim. She has a little hat. It's like a little. It's also got matching decorative trim and a green colour. And it's like a little gnome hat. And she has a basket under her arm in which she seems to have collected some coals from the fire. The other little being is wearing a little green shirt and green, what look almost like lederhosen, but they're made out of what looks to be wool, with a very similar trim and a little gnome hat. Now, they're not gnomes. They're like little mousy creatures. They're covered in a very fine layer of sort of tawny brown fur. They have little rodent noses and big mousy ears, and they have little beady mouse eyes, but they stand on all fours wearing these clothes, and they are staring at you, Dagmar, kind of having a little conversation about whether or not you're going to steal this book.
Would Dagmar recognise what these are?
No, probably not. I don't think Dagmar would have encountered these before. But they seem completely oblivious. Like they're almost ignoring you. It gives you the feeling that these little creatures are convinced you can't see them. And one of them goes, "They're definitely stealing that book. What should we do about it?"
So, given these are quite alien to Dagmar, probably would come as quite as a shock to see some small little mousy type creatures dressed in twee little green outfits having a debate about a slightly sketchy incident that I may have just performed. So Dagmar's gingerly going to edge towards the door, which I believe is there.
Yep. They're doing a runner! They're doing a runner with that book! Do you want to dart through the door?
Not yet.
Okay. One of them turns to that. "You're gonna have to stop them! They're stealing a book!" "What do you want me to do about it?"
For the record, I'm not stealing a book. This is evidence for an investigation.
They both snap their little faces towards you, and they freeze like rabbits in a headlight. And then they turn to look at each other. "Do you think they can see us?"
I can see both of you. What I would appreciate is finding out what you are.
"Quick! Hide!" And as you kind of speak directly to them and they say, "Quick, hide!" They both scurry towards the fireplace. And as they scurry towards the fireplace, they nip inside it and do a little bounce and seemingly begin climbing up the chimney.
If I was to open this door and shout for my comrades, would they hear me?
Yes. Oh, more technical issues. Okay, so you want to fling this door open and shout. Okay, let me open the door. As you fling the door open, the room beyond reveals itself to be a sort of rudimentary, rustic kitchen.
So yeah, she's gonna. Dagmar's gonna let out just a cry of, you know, to both of them to come quickly. But as soon as having made that call, is then going to run straight to the fireplace to try and see where they've gone. These little creatures.
Morton, I appear that it is time to ditch the slow and steady. I've always wanted to do this, and Quentin runs and tries to kick down this door.
If you're right, Mr. Londonsberg. I shall run behind you.
Okay, you kick the door open and it slams into the wall with a crash, again revealing a rustic kitchen in the room beyond.
Quentin will quickly scan, and I guess noticing this door is still open, rush towards the main room. And are you okay?
One second, technical difficulties my side as well. It's going to be one of those days, everyone. As both Quentin and Morton burst into the room, they're going to find Dagmar at that fireplace, investigating it, trying to ascertain where these two little creatures have gone. I guess, yeah, I'd like to find out what I can see or what evidence there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a body?
Yes. You also, as you come into this room, you see that on the armchair with the X is Benedicta's body, the crime scene, the murder victim.
We were here to investigate a murder, Mr. Lindbergh, so it's likely there would be a body.
Oh, I can just see why our compatriot called us after seeing such a sight.
The body's one thing, but there were two creatures in here, and they ran straight into this fireplace. They were in the room with the body.
What kind of creatures?
That's what I'm trying to find out. They were small.
What did they look like?
Almost like giant mice, but with rather twee clothing.
Does this description sound familiar to either of us, Luke?
It would definitely trigger some memories from Quentin, for sure.
If you're speaking of what I think, they are often not dangerous in my experience. But we should try and find them. They may have seen what happened.
So how's my investigation of the fireplace going? Do I need to roll?
Ooh, yes. Let's do the first roll. Give us a...
Success.
Yes! That's what we're after. Give me an investigation check.
Ooh.
Ask and you shall receive.
Nice.
Damn.
Ooh.
Everyone's better than Quentin right now.
Okay. You look up the chimney. Search the leftover, the remains of a fire, the coals, the ashes, the chimney itself. You tap on some of the bricks, trying to see if there is an exit, because the chimney is empty, and there is no evidence among the ashes or the fireplace that anything has passed through to hide. It is completely empty.
You said the chimney's empty too, so
Yep.
that if they have gone up the chimney, they're not there now.
Nope. They are these little creatures have seemingly vanished.
Well,
They speak
what-
to you.
they did. They were arguing amongst themselves about why I was here, and once I turned and addressed them, they ran.
I see.
I can't see where they've gone. They're certainly not in here now, but they ran straight in here and disappeared.
Is there a second story to this building at all? Did we notice?
No, there isn't a second story. It is a single story house.
We could quickly poke our head outside and see if they came out the other end of the chimney, but
They're probably long gone by now if that's the way they went.
that is my worry. And we have our friend here to keep us company for now.
Very true.
It could be helpful though. At some point, we must work a way of try to track them down.
I agree.
Does-
Did you find anything? Oh, sorry, Morton. After you.
I was just going to look at the fireplace. Does it go through? Does it look like it goes through to the kitchen? Have a little look at the fireplace myself, just to sort of see if it's a fireplace in this room.
It is just a fireplace in this room. You can see the chimney breast rise up at the wall and into the ceiling above. And you have been in the storeroom on the other side, and there isn't a adjoining fireplace. So this is just a singular place here in this living room that then just rises straight up.
And when I was investigating, I didn't just look, did I? I was like touching the wall at the back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Touching the wall at the back, seeing if there was like a coal, like a chimney sweep door or anything like that. Any way to get out of the fireplace, and there's no way out other than up the chimney, and there's no evidence that anything passed through.
Before they interfered, had you found anything of note in this room? Or did they interrupt you quite swiftly?
Well, obviously I found our friend here. The poor soul in the chair. I did notice something here that might be of interest to you, Mr. Ludensberg.
Mm.
The tea. Take a smell and tell me what you notice.
Oh. Step forward and have a sniff. I feel he would be a lot more dignified than that, to be fair, though.
It wasn't very dignified at all, was it?
Just nose straight in.
That wasn't a smell, that was a huff!
It's like you were doing a line of tea.
Isn't that how you take your tea? Split the bag and...
Well, that's just nasty.
So
Do
while
I-
Quentin takes a sniff, Dagmar's going to point out, I don't know if you can smell it, but there is a smell of almonds on there. And in my experience, that could suggest something sinister.
Indeed, it often can. And do I detect the same sort of...
Yes, absolutely. There is indeed an almond, almost marzipan-like smell wafting up from the tea.
like our friend?
Out of curiosity, there's multiple cups of tea here, right?
Yes, there
Do
is.
they all smell like almonds?
Yes, they do. Everything smells all. So there's 3 cups, and there's 3 cups in a teapot. Now, one of the cups has a little tea strainer sat atop it, and the inside of the cup is pretty much bone dry apart from the drips from the tea strainer. The other 2 cups, on the other hand, have got tea still in them, cold, and with that strange skin that cold tea likes to make. So you would surmise by looking at the table that there were 2 people drinking tea. Or at least there were 2 people who came for tea, or were provided with tea.
And have they both been obviously drunk from?
One of them certainly has. The other looks still almost entirely full of tea.
That definitely seems odd that one would be completely untouched if there was 2 people.
Maybe this was not the only victim that was planned.
When we
Unless-
came to the house, did we see the tracks? Were they coming to the house and away from the house when we searched that, or were they just one direction, coming away from the house?
To and from.
To and from. And the door had been broken outwards, as though something had broke its way out of the house.
Yeah, I feel we would definitely catch up Dagmar on what we found. So the large level of herbs and such in that sort of the pantry room, and how the door at the back had been broken out of.
Are you saying there's practically a medicine cabinet back there?
It would appear
Yes.
the owner of this
Mm.
property was not a medical person or even a herbalist of some kind.
Do any of you have a knowledge of herbalism? Was there anything in there that could maybe have been used to poison tea?
Well, a lot of medicinal plants, when taken in excess, do have the opposite effect, and that is pretty much the end of my knowledge, I will admit. I'm not as learned on that subject as I'd like.
Yes, same here.
I really appreciate that as an answer. If you take too much, you might die, and that's it.
This can be applied to all things.
He's gonna walk over to the bookshelf and be like, "Is there any good books that I could read on the subject in here?"
The answer to that question is definitely yes. A huge portion of this book collection is on medicinal herbs and traditional remedies.
Then one that looks a bit more like medicinal herbs for tummies, or are they all like pretty like expert level?
Judging from the titles of these books, you would surmise that this is the collection of an expert. There are almanacs, there are encyclopedias, there are like treatises, discussions. Like, it's not like 20 plants and what to do with them. This is like, you know, really academic, some of it, and some of it very theoretical, and some of it heading distinctly into the esoteric and potentially bizarre.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll sort of browse through, especially any sort of relating to poisons and stuff, to see if I can find anything to sort of match with my suspicions on the type of poison or type of herb that was put in the tea, possibly to.
With the extensive collection in front of you, it would actually take quite some time to rifle through these books and try and find an answer, particularly seen as a lot of these books aren't gonna like have a friendly reference section at the back of like smells like almonds, see page 26.
There's no book that's just like how to poison your friends on the spine.
Actually, very interestingly, there would be several books on poisonous plants.
Well, I will reach to one that looks like it could help and be like, for the case, and I will continue to hold the book on my person for now.
I'm just going to move into what looks like the kitchen pantry area because I realise I don't know what's in there at the moment and I just want to have a little look.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a fairly rustic kitchen. There is a cooker. It's not. It's a very traditional cooker, so it's more like a wood-burning stove, Aga style cooker that has a flue that comes up and seems to feed into the wall at an angle that would suggest it joins up with the chimney breast, so that the smoke from the stove can escape the house. There are two large sort of tables in here, one that looks almost like a trestle and one that looks like a big old wooden table. And they're in the middle, and there is food still on them, so there is still a loaf of bread There are some vegetables that have been cut up. Almost looks like someone had been preparing a meal and had been interrupted and sort of left things, and then had continued on with hosting a guest, for example. So they had sort of started cooking, a guest had come, they'd hosted the guest and not returned to the cooking. There is one thing in the kitchen that does catch your eye, however, and that is this table here.
I'm assuming the curtains are drawn in here too.
Yes, they are.
Can I open them?
Absolutely.
Quentin will also step just into the room and be like, we probably shouldn't split up for now. Just in
It's a bit
case.
late for Morton. He wants to head to the other door.
Now this
Morton?
this strange table that the two of you are now standing next to, now that there isn't a commotion and you get a good look at it, you realise it's a rather peculiar table. For on it there is a large there's about this, you can't see me. This is literally the night. This is the one. This is that one. This is that one.
I have the stream open on my phone. I think he means this size. Ish.
I always forget you can't see me. Okay, it is about. It looks like it could easily hold a melon. There you go, or a pumpkin. Cast iron. What can only be described as a cauldron, really, on a stand with a gas lamp underneath it, and there are several. There is an alembic, which is like there's an alembic and several glass contraptions alongside the alembic that kind of suggest that the owner of this table is doing some significant chemistry.
Does it look like they've been cooking anything up recently in it, or
No, and everything is immaculately clean. There's lots of empty glass jars and vials and pots. There's labels. There's a pestle and mortar. There is all the equipment that you would need here to distill, to do other chemical extractions and formulations.
You say everything is super clean.
Immaculately clean.
are there any anything, or like labels, or any of them pre-written so we could see what they were intending to be used for?
No, everything is all the labels are empty. All the glass vials, pots, and bottles are empty. It's very clean and tidy. It looks like whoever owned this workstation, this table, was very house proud of it and has maintained all the equipment really well and has kept it really clean and tidy.
Are there any like waste disposal areas in here or anything like that where people might throw some things away?
Yes, absolutely. So underneath this table, there is a wooden bucket with a lid. And on the underneath the very large pale wooden table, there is a bit of a bigger bucket, more like a pail than a bucket, and that looks like it has got sort of food refuse in it that hasn't been taken outside and cast into the like the pit. So there's two separate like bins.
Is there nothing in the one underneath the chemistry set?
Oh, there is. As you lift the lid and reveal the contents of this bucket, there is what only can be described as like a must or like dregs. It looks like a large quantity of plant material that has been boiled to within an inch of its existence and then has been pummeled somewhat and then cast into this bucket afterwards. And there is a real heady scent of like deep herb kind of odor that's ever so slightly on the turn. So there's that kind of really deep, heady, herbal aroma that comes up out of it that's like warm and ever so slightly on the ferment. But it doesn't smell of almonds at all. More like it's like a it's really green smell is the best way to describe it. Like really green, like if you get a hedge trimmer out and you get that kind of intense plant smell.
Well, it's not my favourite job, but maybe the bins are begging for a check. Excuse me. My technology is trying to join in. I will pull out some gloves and gingerly search through any of the buckets.
So the one underneath this chemistry table, the entire contents are plant material and what look like might have been some sort of more like geological, like chalk or lye, maybe sodium bicarbonate, like those sort of, those kind of really commonplace, really. I mean, lye and bicarbonate would be very common. Mixed in with all this herbage, all this must, all this lays that have been left behind from whatever concoction, whatever chemistry has gone on. The bin under the pale wooden table is more of a refuse bin and has like cabbage leaves, potato peels, all the sort of eggshells, that sort of thing. But there is nothing ominous in either, and neither of them have anything almond smelling.
Necessarily from within this place that it came from.
Nothing obvious, huh?
Not
Where's
in these
your
places.
where's your little servant gone?
Just turn around. Morton, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Just looking around in here.
And what are you looking for, Morton, as you search the sort of living dining space?
I take it that table is just set for one.
Yes, it is just set for one.
Okay, I'll just picking out the table, but I really would want to go through this other door.
Okay. Okay. It reveals a bedroom. There is a single bed. Too far, too far. Again, too far. A little bit more. Nope, a little bit more. Too far. Okay. There is a single bed with a well-worn rug that kind of spans the room. There is a desk with a chair. The desk has got several things, including a book, including a number of books and some papers and an inkwell. There is a crate in here that seems to be doubling as a bedside table, a chest of drawers, and a chest.
A chest.
And a chest.
Okay. I'd like to look at the... Is it quite dark in here?
Yeah, well, the
And the
curtains are
curtains,
closed, yes.
I'll go and open the curtain and then start to look around the room. And I'll first go to the desk and see what has been written on the paper, what's going on the desk.
You're opening the curtains, yes?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Okie dokie. So, on the desk, there is an open book. It is a book of medicine. Specifically on the subject of medicine for children.
Okay.
And it is open on a page which is about it seems more of an index page than anything else, and it has a it's got like lists of symptoms or indications, and then references next to them which are all in Latin that you assume are going to be plant names.
Okay.
And next to the book, there is a scrap of paper, upon which is written, a list of symptoms. Now, it's not a very long list of symptoms, and there's no context to them at all. It's just a few words. And the words are night terrors, fever, and then in brackets, fever dreams.
Okay.
And then the third one is hysteria / strange behavior.
Okay. And are we aware of whether the person's name, Benedictus, had any children?
The house is entirely set out for a single occupant.
Single person. I shall put the piece of paper in the book and close the book on that page as a marker, and pick up the book to take with me, Is there
Okay.
anything else on the desk?
There's a few other books that are of all similar themes.
Can I just have a quick sort of flick through those, see if there's anything inside them or anything falls out of them or any
Yeah.
markers that are already in those books?
No, there aren't any markers. There's no pages. There's no page corners turned, bookmarks, notes. It looks almost as if there's like there was a pile of books on one side, and Benedict has scrawled through the book. It hasn't helped, so it's gone onto the pile of no help, and this is the last book. The open book was the last one.
Okay, I'll carry that. I'm going to go and investigate the chest in the corner over here.
Okay. The chest seems a little out of place. It is made from a fine, lacquered wood with metal reinforcements. It's not like it's not a travel chest or like anything like that. This is like something out of like a castle or out of like a medieval fairy tale or something similar. And there is a lock.
It's got a lock on it.
A very peculiar shaped lock. It looks almost like it's made for a key that has 3 keys on it. So the lock is like almost like the inside of a triangle. So there's like one straight bit that comes down, then the little circle, and then 2 straight bits that go diagonally outwards.
Okay.
Which is a very peculiar key arrangement. Other than that, there is no adornment on the outside.
Are there, looking back at the desk, is there any drawers in the desk or anything like that? There's
Nope.
nothing on there. I shall investigate the chest and the... I'm assuming this is just a chest of drawers, so just quickly open drawers. And I guess there's clothes in there.
Yes, all of which look like they've been rifled through.
Is there any other evidence of activity like that? Does the bed look like it's been turned over? Not rather than just slept in, does it look like it's been...
Give me an investigation check.
Investigation.
By the way, Luke, while he rolls, is this a door?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Just a straight investigation.
Yeah.
You got this. Yeah.
Ooh. Didn't even need the other 7, 6, or whatever.
Okay, nice. You get that moment where you see this chest has been rifled through. This chest of drawers has been rifled through. And you turn and look at the room. The bed looks like it was made, but then it has been disturbed, as if someone has lifted the covers to look underneath it. The crate acting as a bedside table, the lid of that crate isn't sitting flush on top of the crate. You realise as well that the desk that you had looked at, compared to the rest of the room, the desk was actually a mess. Like, things were scattered and strewn all over it. But everything else in this house has been orderly, thought through, organised, well placed. Apart from that desk, and the bed, and this chest of drawers that has been rifled through. And you get the feeling the house has been searched. And whoever searched this house clearly were either very inexperienced or they were disturbed during the search. Because for you, with your eye for detail, it's clear that someone has turned this house over searching for something.
The chest with the lock. The chest is actually still locked, isn't it?
It is
I can't
indeed. And now that you've come to look, like now with this extra knowledge, when you look at the chest, the lock of the chest has got a lot of scratching around it, which looks very much like someone has tried and failed to pick it.
Okay. I will sort of finish searching in and around the bed and the crate, and then I will head through back to where I think people are. So back through this door here, back towards the kitchen area, I think.
Okay.
If this is a door just next to Dagmar,
Yep.
Dagmar's going to open it.
Okay. It reveals a cupboard. I want to say cupboard. It's a bit more than just a cupboard. It is it's like a very small storeroom. The room really wouldn't be usable for much else other than kind of storing a few odds and ends. It's almost like an under the stairs cupboard, but there aren't any stairs. In it, there is a barrel, a wooden barrel, and other than that, it's completely empty.
What's in the barrel?
It is water.
Spooky. What did you find, Morton? Dagmar,
Mr.
was there anything in there?
I believe we need to spend some more time searching around here, but the house has most definitely been searched by somebody else. If you would like to follow me into the room over here, I should just tell you.
Of course. Either way.
This is a very odd chest in the corner of the room, a very odd lock, and it looks like it's been attempted to be opened in some way, and the bed has been disturbed, and the chest of drawers has most definitely been searched, as has the desk over there. I couldn't find anything else other than a couple of books. It looks like the lady here was investigating some kind of strange symptoms, potentially in a child.
Could be a parent was unhappy with what she found.
I hadn't thought of that. That is possible. Yes, it looked
Or
like this
believe she
child
was-
may have night terrors and may have been acting very strangely and having fevers.
If they're acting strangely, that may hopefully help us to find them. I will take a look at the lock as well. Does it look pickable to me? Did it look like they were just bad at doing it, or does it look like an extremely hard lock to...
It looks very complex. It's unlike any lock you've ever seen, really.
Okay, that answers the question.
It must be a very strange looking key that opens it. Like
Yeah.
like a long key, but with at the very end it would have 3 separate key parts, and it would go in and turn.
Yes, because I guess like a lockpick is built for a certain kind of lock. So if you're trying to use it to do a weird and wonderful lock, it's going to be awful.
Yeah, a lockpick would is designed to deal with a single lock tumbler. This looks like it potentially... This tumbler has 3 parts, so you would need 3 simultaneous lockpicks.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough arms for that. Did you check this room out, Morton? This covered?
I have not. No, I've only just searched this room and came looking for you once I'd found this information.
Thank you for grabbing us. It's a very good find. I will walk up to the door and take a peek in, unless it's locked.
Okay, no, it's not locked. It is another one of these very small kind of storerooms. This one has in it a low table. That is a very richly coloured wood.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing on it, nor is there anything underneath.
Walking sort of around here and back in the bedroom, does there feel anywhere like any of the floorboards feel differently or anything like that?
Good question.
As if there's any like trap doors or anything hidden underneath, like any odd lumps and bumps and...
No, there isn't actually.
I'm going to assume Dagmar's inspection of this lock is going to result in the same conclusions.
Dagmar's assessment is probably it would be doable, but it would be a puzzle that would take some time to try and solve.
Well, at least we've got tea.
Yeah, maybe not the tea on the table though.
Yay, poison tea!
Let's see exactly what poison it is by testing it ourselves. Don't think there'd be any more on it. I would like to go... Now I know we're looking for a key. Quentin's gonna go back to where like the bottles and herbs and stuff were and have a look if any of them... He's looking for if there's like any clues, because obviously he knows that in the past people have hidden stuff inside other items, so he wants to see if any of the bottles give off like a vibe of someone may have tried to hide a key in there, like say one looks like it's handled more than the others, or you know, something as simple as the label, it's a plant and it's got like the word key in it, or that such.
Fair, absolutely.
Like the fake rock with a key in it.
Okay. Let's do good one. What to get you to roll? Give me. Let's do investigation. Let's do it. Let's give you a chance to redeem yourself with your 10 dice.
No mods.
Come on, Quentin.
You must be able to do this.
Hello. Did it do it? Where has it gone? Why did you not roll?
Oh.
Did it? No. Yeah. No.
There it is.
There it is!
Hey!
Yeah!
Redemption. Woo! Finally. Been shown up a little here.
Okay. Those detective skills kick in. There is a single jar that doesn't match. All the jars, bottles, pots, tubs, containers are all labelled and filled with herbs, and the label has the common name and the Latin name and a date. But there is a single tub at the very back of the top shelf. It is filled with herbs, just like all the others. This one stems and leaves of an unknown plant. It draws your attention because it doesn't have the same label as all the others. Instead of a plant name and date, it has a red symbol drawn onto it, looking almost hand-drawn, and you recognise it as a troll cross.
Okay. And so, yeah, opening up, it's just that stuff inside, or is there anything within the herbs and
There
stems
is
and
a key
Ooh,
within
yeah.
the herbs. The herbs used to conceal its presence. And the key is a very strange looking key indeed. It has a long stem with 3 keys at the end that align to the chest.
Okay. My good people, this may help, and I will hold up the key. Everyone,
Ah, Mr. Lunsberg, that's brilliant work. Well done.
thank you. Thank you. I will step forward and check for traps. Is what you
Uh,
I will put the key in the lock and turn it.
There is a resounding click.
Just lift that lid. I'll go slowly just in case there is anything dangerous in there. Like, I want to listen. It could be an animal, it could be anything in there.
The chest is entirely empty, save for a single envelope.
Okay. I will. Has the seal been broken on the envelope?
No, it
Like, has it
hasn't.
got a wax?
It
Oh.
has a wax seal, yes. With a
Do I
very
recognise-
similar symbol to the
Mhm.
one on the label of the jar. This one is a little more complex. It looks like it has the addition of runes struck into it.
Mm. Do either of you understand runes? There is a seal on this envelope. I wouldn't want to destroy it before seeing if either of you two could ascertain its nature.
I'll step
No.
forward and take a look, but I don't believe that Morton will be able to read runes.
I think Dagmar's the same.
It will remain a mystery.
Actually, I don't know. It's not probably his wheelhouse. Is there a dictionary? There's quite a library. Oh, wait a minute. Before I break it, I'm going to draw the seal on a piece of paper so that we know it. We've got it for future reference.
What about the books in the library? Would they not be of some help before we break it?
I'm happy to go check.
Okay, I will draw the symbol and hand it to you, just in case. I guess we can all adjourn to the lounge if we want.
Okay, Dagmar, I will need a learning roll from you. Oh!
Yeah, nice.
Oh!
Damn, this is a good night.
Okay, cool. We shall return while you rummage around in some books. Quentin,
Yes.
you have handed your drawing of the seal to Dagmar, and they have gone to go and see if they can find some answers in the library. You're going to break the seal on the letter.
Yes. I will try and do it very gently to try and keep it intact if possible, but I will open the letter, yes.
Despite how gently you try to prise the seal off and keep it intact, it almost shatters as you go to gently prise it open. There is a letter inside the envelope.
I will read the letter, and I'll do it aloud so Morton can hear, and obviously if Dagmar is close enough. I'm obviously not screaming it out, but I feel in a place like this, sound will travel.
The letter isn't very long. It says, Ensum, I have been discovered and can no longer help you. I must away for the sake of my secrets. If I can, I will send another. And then it just is signed B.
Okay.
Did you say ensign?
Ensom. E-N-S-O-M.
So, thank you.
Have we heard that name mentioned? Or am I just really dumb and that means like it means like sir or something?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Don't think we've spoken about it in some.
So you haven't heard. Uh, y it's actually not a name. It's a word. It's just a word, and it means lonely.
Okay.
So, to your eyes, speaking the language, you would read it as lonely. I have been discovered. But it is written in a way that indicates that it is a name, even if it isn't.
Interesting.
Well, the assumption has to be that B is the lady that lives here.
Yes.
So, did she take her own life? To be away? Or has she been discovered and killed?
Obviously it's been tossed, but is there anything around here that looks like packing of any description?
Nope. This doesn't look like packing. This looks like someone rummaging.
Somebody was looking for that key. Don't you agree?
Definitely. They appeared to try and get in by brute force, but yeah, no, I definitely feel they did not at least find what they came for. From the look at the back door, it may be that something or someone spooked them. Were we told how quickly the police arrived on the scene?
Nope.
Was it just in the... Okay. We don't know if...
Do we know who discovered the body originally, or knew there'd be a murder?
Nope. You didn't ask lots of questions of the police.
Didn't want the trail to go cold.
We're expert investigators, you see.
We'll work it out.
Who needs questions?
Who needs to ask silly questions like that?
She was getting more and more annoyed with us by the second.
While
I can't
this...
imagine why.
We're such delightful people.
While this letter is opened and read out, Dagmar, you hit the books! Hit the books.
Learning.
Learning. You find a book on the shelves, rifling through, that you feel may shed some light. The book is called Runa, R-U-N-R, and when you pop it open, it is indeed... It's not a dictionary. That's not at all what it is. As you kind of look through it, it's got a page. There's one page for each of the runes, and each rune has a bit of a poetic description to it, and then a host of what seemingly are meanings, but not... It's not like, this is the letter R. It's more like, R, like, Rido is for travel, and it indicates a journey. It's like quite an esoteric, almost divination-y kind of meaning. But it does let you work out what the rune letters are in the Trollcross. And they are T O A. You realise it's not a word. It's probably an acronym.
Do I recognise that acronym?
Nothing springs to mind immediately.
Is there anything else in the bookshelf that would match that in terms of title?
No, there isn't, actually. Which is frustrating, because it feels almost like it is teased you to a dead end.
Okay, I'm going to take this information back to my new investigatory chums.
As you turn around, the glassy eyes of the corpse almost burn into you as they just stare, that intense death stare at you as you rummage through the bookshelf and turn around.
As in, this body is moved.
Previously, the body was slumped forward, but now it is sitting up.
The question is whether this would fill me with utter fear or just confusion.
I feel like it is most likely that confusion of like, was the body sitting up?
I guess in Dagmar's quite often overly confident approach to many awkward situations, and with no one else here to observe what Dagmar does next, Dagmar's probably just going to, by chance, just stare straight back and say, "Did you just move?"
The silence of death fills the room.
Good. Dagmar's going to maybe leave the room through this little door just here. Very slowly, keeping an eye on the body.
Quentin, Morton, what are you up to?
Did we hear Dagmar say, "Did you just move"?
No, I don't. Dagmar, how loud was your question?
It wasn't loud. It was
Okay.
more of a like, you know, those moments you sort of, you know, you see them in movies all the time. The question's directed at the body, But it's also directed at their own psyche to try and figure out are they going mad.
Okay. I feel Quentin would have just been like reading and rereading the letter just to make sure that he's getting every like nuance and context from it, and just sort of trying to understand it fully to see if he's like on rereading it, if it reads the same, or if anything seems to be out of place. Obviously, it doesn't really seem like there would be a secret message in there because they're being quite open about the fact they've been discovered and stuff like that. But if anything rings a bell, or yeah, it's just reading and rereading, and then just see Dagmar walking in through a different door, just like, okay.
And Morton would have been mulling over the significance of the troll cross, because is that a protection against spirits? Did we? Or to ward off spirits, a troll cross?
It protects you from trolls and other mischievous spirits, but it also protects you from slander.
So Dagmar, having entered the room and see these two people being very studious, is going to take that chance to at least try to forget their mild inner freak out, thinking a body may have just suddenly started staring at them. Just to say, I did actually find a book that might help us. Although the runes spell out a series of letters that, to me, make no sense. And then proceeds to show both of them the TOA to ascertain if it rings any bells with that.
Yeah, that's it. An acronym heard before, or?
Nope.
Mm.
It is as strange to Quentin and Morton as it is to Dagmar.
This is infuriating. Unfortunately, I've not come across this.
What was in the envelope?
Ah, what was the letter? I will. Would you like to read it? Or do you want me to read it for you?
No, I think the time of telling each other bedtime stories can come later.
I'll quickly hand it over if you want to quickly peruse. It seems to have been a letter that we think our dearly deceased housemates did not get a chance to send.
I'm not sure that was meant to be sent. I think it was meant to be found.
Surely if it was meant to be sent, it wouldn't be locked away in a chest with the key hidden somewhere special.
That's my feeling also, that it was meant to be found by maybe not us, but by the right person. And the lady has been, based on the information of it, has been caught and found and murdered. And the right person hasn't found it before she's been murdered.
Could this TOA refer to a person?
It could, if she was found by something, that would explain the warding of the troll cross on the outside of the box. Stop mischievous spirits maybe getting in. You believe you've seen two odd spirits in this house already, but we're not entirely sure if they're in.
Odd thing.
What?
It may be my memory playing tricks on me, but I'm almost certain the deceased body of our friend may have sat upright and started looking at me. I wasn't going to stand around in that room on my own and confirm that.
Oh, well, we should investigate.
Yes. Did you ever check for a pulse? When you first found the body?
Did I, GM? No, I did, because I checked under, like, fingernails and stuff.
No, because the fingernails were bloody, weren't they?
And I'll explain this information to both Quentin and Morton, that this lady was definitely dead, but there was, if I remember correctly from last chapter, there was blood under the fingernails suggesting some kind of struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
That's what I wrote down.
It is. Good sign for us. If they did struggle and have wounded whoever it was that did this, that could help us in finding them.
If she was poisoned, though, why would there have been a struggle? Unless maybe she was forced to drink the tea? That would explain why one cup has not been touched, but it seems very odd to force someone to drink tea if you were visiting.
Could it be the last gasp effort of someone succumbing to poison?
Potentially. Yes.
Yes, it depends on the poison and on the dose. There is another tea that was touched, and I don't see a second body, so unless they were taken, who knows if it was a strong enough dosage to complete the job. And maybe they had to... He's gonna sort of do a very uncomfortable sort of face and finish her off. And she fall back.
Let's examine this body.
But carefully.
Morton's going to go through into the room, stop by the door, and look at the body to see if it looks how I remember it.
Yeah, was it slumped when Morton and Quentin first went into the room?
Yes, it was indeed slumped. Morton, give me a vigilance check as you come into this room.
Come on, perfect roll so far, don't end it now.
No pressure!
No!
You took that one up for me.
Scripted.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Thank you. That's
I
fine.
obviously have nothing to tell you now.
No, nothing to tell me now. No, I will approach the body.
What body?
What does the body look like as I go forward?
Slumped over just like it was before.
Okay. I'm going to get to the body, and I'm actually going to try and sit it up into a position that's just been described to me.
You actually can't. The rigor that has set in prevents you from sitting the body up.
I shall turn to Dagmar and say, see, this body cannot move. It's clearly been dead for a long time, or enough time to go solid. I can't move this, and therefore it could not have moved. Are you sure you saw it looking like?
I was stood in this exact position here, and that deceased woman was sat upright and staring me in the eyes.
As this conversation happens between Morton and Dagmar, something catches your attention from the corner of your eye, Quentin. And you turn to face the fireplace.
Mm-hmm. What do I see?
You are suddenly reminded of a time long ago when you used to sit by a fireplace quite similar to this one
Mm-hmm.
and wait. And from that fireplace, every night, without fail, you would see the two beady little eyes of your closest friend. And there are two beady little eyes looking out of this fireplace at you right now. In this completely different house, in a completely different place. And they're different eyes. But the similarities between what you remember as a child and what you see now are unmistakable. And as you look at these beady little eyes that look straight at you, we're gonna go for a break!
Good.
No.
Super.
So, we're gonna go for a quick break, so that we can roll our hit dice for our short rest, top up on our health potions and our consumables, and come back refreshed and rejuvenated, ready for the second half of tonight's session. So,
Dangle that juicy backstory.
dangle, dangle, dangle. So we're going to go for a 15-minute break, which means we will be back with you at 5 to 10. So we will catch you then for the second half of tonight's episode. Hello, hello, and we are back from our break. We have rolled our hit dice and consumed our consumables, and we are now back ready and raring to go, continuing on with our investigation. So, here we are in gathered around the victim's body, discussing the impossibility that the body could have moved with rigor mortis having set in. Dagmar and Morton discuss this situation. Quentin, on the other hand, catches a glimpse of something in the fireplace that stirs and conjures memories of a bygone age, of a childhood not forgotten, but that seems so long ago and far removed. Beady little eyes gaze out from the fireplace, catching Quentin's eyes, and the two lock together, both realizing simultaneously that the other has seen them. Press the button, click this thing, and here we go.
Quentin will, a sort of a little like reminiscing, kind of like sad smile will just like come to his face, and he'll just he'll kneel instinctively, like get down lower, and sort of like hold his hand out, like it's okay, we will not hurt you.
The two beady little eyes stare out of the fireplace at you, but don't move, keeping to the shadows to hide the form of their owner.
My name is Quentin. What is yours?
So, Dagmar and Morton, your conversation about whether or not the body can move is interrupted by this peculiar maneuver by Quentin, who begins introducing himself to the fireplace.
What are you doing?
He'll just hold up a hand. Oh,
Dagmar's not going to say a word. Dagmar is just very quietly going to slowly walk, pretty much with their back to the wall, towards the edge of this fireplace, seemingly out of sight of anything that might be within it.
Give me a stealth roll as you do that.
Oh man.
I know I'm mean. Okay.
I'll take like a half step. Well, on his knee, like a half thing forward. Like, I had a friend that was like you.
You're certain that you see something move in the shadows of the fireplace, right at the back, where the light from the open curtains cannot reach. You see the glimmer, the shine of beady eyes watching you, but the shape or form of the owner of the eyes remains cloaked in shadow.
I was wondering if you could help us. Did you see anything that happened here? I mean, you know,
Silence from the fireplace.
Does Quentin remember if there's any, like, snacks or anything they like that he would likely have on him? Like any, like, sweets or anything like that?
I
I'm not trying to lure something to me, but I am.
what do you remember, Quentin?
I mean, I was a kid, so I guess sweets would have been all I really had access to. I would, like, yeah, pull out like a travel candy with some kind of hard boiled sweet, I kind of guess, and just sort of hold it out in my hand. So like, I have this if you would like it.
The beady eyes continue to watch you from the back of the fireplace, but nothing emerges.
Do I at least get to know?
Silence.
In case you don't trust me, I'll like unwrap it, like lick it, and then like rewrap it a little and sort of throw it just in front of the fireplace so they don't have to come all the way to me.
Here, have a pre-licked sweet.
It ain't.
Which I feel like 100% is like Quentin's childhood of like half eating sweets and then,
Yeah.
then sharing
Yeah.
them.
So you share sweets, right? Right?
The hard-boiled travelled sweet clacks its way across the floor towards the fireplace, coming to rest just in front of the hearth. The clacking sound as it skids across the floor kind of creates this anxious build as it turns to silence, as all three of you stand tense, waiting for a creature from the other world, some alien, unknown, maybe fey or monstrous creature to emerge from the fireplace. And that anxiety builds almost to a point of agony as nothing comes out of the fireplace.
I think at this point, Dagmar's going to strike.
Okay.
The silence, the tension. Dagmar's already twigged that Quentin is now trying to communicate with the things, at least the things she thought she saw before. Sorry, they thought they saw them before. Ran into this fireplace. So, trying as quickly as possible, with a left hand on the top hard surface of the mantelpiece, is going to fling their right arm as far into it as possible and grab the first thing they get their hands on.
Okay.
To pull it back out.
Dagmar strikes with the speed of a cat. Quentin, before you really even are able to piece together what is happening, Dagmar has lunged into the fireplace, fist closing around the shadow at the back, the owner of the beady eyes, and erupting from the shadow, clasped in Dagmar's hands, is a half-burned piece of firewood that has, in the heat of the fire, oozed forth 2 large globules of sap that glisten ever so slightly in the sunlight that spills through the open curtain.
Oh.
So Dagmar's holding this, right?
Yeah, it's just holding a piece of wood.
I guess semi-leaning off the fireplace, Dagmar kind of looks back over their right shoulder with this wood going, Not entirely sure sweets will cut it. But can Dagmar now see anything in the fireplace?
Nope, it is completely empty.
What did you think you were talking to, Quentin?
From the description earlier, I believed it was the creature well, the same species as the creature I was once friends with. As a little boy.
What creature was that?
They are known as Vaeta.
You failed to mention that
friendly.
before.
They are friendly beings. Or at least the one I knew was.
There is a palpable surprise and shock that kind of ripples through this room as all three of you suddenly come to the realization that you all have the sight. Or at least it sounds like you all have the sight.
We'd all know what the sight is then.
Well, you all have it. All of you have at some point in your life seen an otherworldly creature. And right now, Dagmar has seen two in this room. And Quentin knows what they're called. And has seen them as a child. And Morton hasn't batted an eyelid at the conversation of strange little creatures that live in fireplaces.
Are you familiar with these? What were they called again, Quentin?
Oh, Vaeta.
What Quentin said, Morton. Have you come across these before?
I wouldn't know their name. I haven't come across these before, but I have come across a very odd, very dangerous creature in the past. But they were definitely not friendly.
It is refreshing to meet people that do not find me mad for mentioning such creatures.
They clearly exist. And you have seen them. Dagmar, you have described seeing them, and the ones I have seen are very dangerous.
But the ones you saw were not like this.
Not what you described, no. I believe we must be dealing with something otherworldly. The whole situation just seems bizarre and strange.
Well, isn't it fortunate that we should have all been gathered together to investigate what appears to be an otherworldly investigation?
It does seem a coincidence, yes.
Welcome and useful, though. It is good. It is good. Brennan is just looking at you two because, like, yeah, just this, his whole life. People just act like you're mental when you mention being friends with small creatures that live in fireplaces. And you two are just like, sure, whatever. It's... and then it's looking across and like, but yes, the body, I guess. Let's
We should examine it again. And we need to think slightly differently now.
You can check it one more time, but I'm getting ready to leave this place.
Is there anything in the mouth? Or
Give me a medicine check.
okay.
Dum dum dum.
Scrolling. That's not my best skill.
Is there any way I... Oh, you've rolled it.
Oh.
My screen just rolled so many more dice, and one of them was a 6, that I got so excited. She has a
Well.
mouth.
Uh-oh. So, you begin to investigate the body, and you come to a singular conclusion. Dagmar did a very thorough investigation previously, and you find no additional information or clues.
I commend you on your investigation of the body, Dagmar. My conclusions are the same.
But oddly, can I lean forward and sniff around her mouth? Can I smell the smell of the same smell of the tea? Or does it smell a lot worse than that?
Combination of the two, 100%. It's going to be a combination of the two. It is going to smell a hell of a lot worse than the tea. But the smell of almond is unmistakable.
Okay. Yeah, it just needed to be sure.
Now we've reached the point where we're sniffing deceased. May I suggest, gentlemen, that maybe we consider leaving?
It is usually the sign that a place has been fully checked.
We quite seriously crossed the line from curious to uncomfortable. So if it's okay with you, I will leave.
Yes. I think we found all we can in here for now.
I agree. Let's return to the captain.
Okay. As you depart from the murder scene, you are again. It is almost like relief. It's almost like palpable relief as you leave the scene of the crime and step out onto the idyllic streets of the village or town of Borgund. You are able to breathe the fresh air, having escaped the kind of oppressive not fearfulness, but the oppressive macabreness of the scene of this murder. Your policeman guide stands outside, and as you exit, he says, "Are you all done?"
I feel for now, at least, yes. Do you happen to know who was first on scene and who reported this? Who discovered the crime?
The crime was discovered by one of the Kirkbys, the owners of the wool mill. In the early hours of this morning. apparently they were expecting a delivery of dye that never arrived.
Is forgive me. Is that the family that called in the Hexajäger?
You see the policeman looks a little uncomfortable when you bring up the Hexajäger, and he just nods.
Thank you.
Seems they have quite a name for themselves. Turned up quite a few times in this case.
It leaves we have another lead.
Indeed.
One other question: do you know? They found in the middle of the night. Do you know if they went in further inside?
According to the reports, the Kirkbys arrived very early this morning to collect the dye and found the front door was not locked. And when Benedicta did not answer, they investigated to make sure that she was safe. And they discovered that she was not.
Thank you.
Do we know where this family lives?
It's the big building down the bottom, right? With
Yeah.
the water wheel.
So
And what time of day is it?
Good question. You are now unquestionably into early afternoon. You have seemingly spent several hours in Benedicta's house, combing the place for clues.
Felt like more.
Felt like more!
Oof.
Yes, you are solidly into early afternoon.
With what we know, Quentin would like to, before we leave, quickly to go elsewhere, quickly look around sort of the back of the house near the stream. Just obviously we saw blood under the nails to see if there is any like blood around the back, especially near like the stream to see if someone tried to like wash it off, like on the rocks near it and stuff like that we saw.
You don't find any blood trail or traces of blood.
With the tracks that we followed on the way, they went in and out. Did they follow the same path back to the road?
Yeah,
Almost
so
retraced their steps.
the tracks went in through the front door and out through the back and then have joined the road. And that's where you lose them because the road doesn't have tracks.
And there's nothing also on opposite side of the road where if you cross straight over or along that edge.
They obviously
I can
joined
see.
the road and continued along some length of it to break up their escape.
So we go around the village, it may be worth keeping an eye out then, see if they ever came back off the path.
Yeah, are they distinctive tracks?
Not necessarily. They are boots, hardy boots. But in a town like this that has a very large wool mill and therefore probably a large number of sheep herders. Sturdy boots are probably very common.
Shall we go see those that were first on the scene then?
I think that's probably our best approach. We can maybe find out some more information about this Hexerjäger.
So, without being able to be overheard by the policeman outside, and as obviously we've started travelling, while this may have been mentioned before, Dagmar may just turn and say, I'm still very confused as to how the front door was open and yet someone needed to break out through the back.
Unless they were there when the family arrived, the Kirkbys, and they got spooked. But something doesn't add up. For certain.
Let's go offer them some pre-licked sweeties and see what we can find out.
I left it in the house. My God. They're fucking sweet near the fireplace now. DNA's all over the scene.
Yeah, it's going to be the prime piece of evidence.
Conditions that Morton read about, that they were looking up the symptoms, would they, like things like whether the hysteria and odd behavior, would that often lead to a Hexerjäger maybe being called, and maybe link that it could be one of the children of this family?
Good question. Hexerjägers get called for all sorts of weird and wonderful reasons. A Hexerjäger is basically contacted if people in a town or a village are convinced that the devil is at work in the town or village in some way, shape or form. A Hexerjäger turns up if they believe there is enough evidence to suggest that is the case. It can be for all sorts of weird and wonderful reasons. Everything from crops failing, drought, too much rain, people having affairs, all sorts of things.
So we don't immediately go, aha, those two things. So it could be anything. Okay. Definitely worth asking why they called them.
Okay, where would you like to go? You are this
bad detective thing, or? I said, are we good detective, bad detective thing?
No, I don't think that would be a good approach.
Shame.
So if you continue south along this road, you will reach the wool mill, well, the Kirkby wool mill, which is one of the largest buildings in the town. And it is hustle and bustle. Even approaching it, you can hear it from the outside. You can hear the sounds of machinery. You can hear people's voices, and off to the side of this very large wool mill, there is a very well-appointed house that you have been directed, or you've been at least told, is the Kirkby house.
Shall we try the house first or the mill?
It's not really a question of their business. So I would feel that it'd probably be more appropriate to approach their house. They may not wish to discuss these kind of matters in their place of work.
Yeah, so we can always send for them if they are in the mill. Or go to the back office if allowed. Yeah.
I agree.
So do I.
The house.
To the house.
Okie dokie. I am going to make the guess that you are going to knock.
That's
Is there
fine, Matt,
is
make
there a
knocking
bell?
Noise.
There is a bell, yes, there is indeed. There is a bell pull. Ring, ring.
Ring the bell.
Right, lovely. It's a few moments before the door is opened, and the door is opened by a maid. She is quite short, dark hair. She is wearing a very practical dress with an apron over the top. And as she opens the door, you get the smell of wood polish basically wafts out of the door at you all. She kind of looks at the three of you, a little frown knitting her eyebrows together ever so slightly. And then she says, "Yes, how may I help you?"
I was wondering, is the master of the house about right now?
No, he is at the mill, ensuring productivity in the light of today's events.
And what about the lady of the house? Is she about?
Yes, she is here, but she is not receiving guests.
Oh,
And why is that? We're not your typical guests that would come knocking.
No, quite. You are not the typical guests that come knocking. The lady of the house is unwell.
very sorry to hear that.
Is it a recent occurrence? Illness? To take ill today, or?
Her condition has worsened of late, yes.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
We are here on police investigatory business, so if she's able to answer just a couple of questions, we can go about our day.
And you see, the maid is now clearly in a rather awkward position where half of her feels that clearly she can't disregard that you are working for the police. She also clearly isn't sure she believes you. And she also, there is worry on her face that kind of suggests to you that she is worried about the lady of the house and her health. Give me a manipulation roll.
Can I help at all? And so I reached my hand out and be like, Quentin Ludensberg,
Wow.
private detective. Wow. Jesus Christ.
The curse befalls.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay.
Means
So-
she's not heard of me.
She turns to you, Dagmar, and she says, I'm sure you are. But the lady is not to be disturbed.
The alternative is asking the captain. I'm sure you would rather us, as opposed to the police captain, come round.
No.
Captain Hilda.
No, quite the opposite. In fact, I would rather an official was sent to the house. This is the Kirkaboo house after all.
Quentin Ludensberg. So, I mean, seems pretty on par to me.
Okay, Quentin. You can make the decision. You can try
Okay.
manipulation or inspiration, and I will let you pick.
Oh God, there's only one difference in there.
And there's no assistance because you are name dropping. So let's see how successful that name drops.
Manipulate with a name drop. Ah, she knows no one. Damn this woman.
She turns to you, Quincy. She says, "Again, I'm quite sure that you are doing very important business for the police. But as I said, the lady of the house is very unwell and cannot be disturbed. If it is needed, please send an official."
Then we will just have to bother the master of the house at his place of work, interrupt his productivity, and what was your name again, so I can let him know who sent us to talk to him?
I am not sending you to talk to anybody. I'm just informing you that the lady of the house is not available and that the master is at work.
Thank you very much for your time. You're just doing your job, and that's totally understandable. We shall move on to the mill. Thank you for your time. We shall return at a later stage. Hopefully, the lady of the house will be able to talk to us.
Yes, hopefully she is recovered. Good day. And the maid closes the door, potentially a little bit more abruptly than is necessary. Like there is a little bit of a slam. Morton, you pick up on all the social cues on this little slam of the door.
Well, that
It's that sort of
usually
slam,
works
you know,
for
when
me.
you slam a door with a knocker on it and it lifts the knocker and the knocker knocks afterwards. It's one of those.
I believe that probably could have got better.
Yes.
Let's head to the mill. I'm sure I would not want to disturb the master at his place of work, but it's left us no choice, really.
I did wish to see the ailment of the lady to see if it would help us in our cause, but she was doing her job, and yes, we shall respect that.
It's intriguing that she claims to have found. Well, maybe if she was to claim she had found the body, we should bear this in mind.
Yeah, did the officer say it the exact name? I thought it was just the surname.
Yeah, the officer said the Kirkaboos came to pick up the die.
Very early hours of the morning, which is not usually die hour. Not that I'm a die specialist.
And it's also a little strange that she could be unwell at any time, but it seems a coincidence that she is unwell right this time.
Especially as another cup was drank from.
I was going to say, maybe it was just a dodgy cup of tea.
Oh shit, that knowing look. Shall we head to the mill?
Yes, that's
All right. The mill has there are several very large barn-style doors of the mill that are closed at the moment, and then there is a much smaller door with a little sign on it that says reception. As you go through said door that says reception, let me see what we've got here. What's this?
I was gonna say, yeah, let's not just barge into the warehouse. Let's do this the right
Okay.
way.
So you can hear quite a lot of hubbub from the street, but when you go into the reception part, it is much quieter. There is the muffled sounds of machinery off in the distance, but they've clearly built some very sensible walls to surround reception, so that you can't hear the hubbub of mechanical equipment and machinery that is clattering away in the wool mill. There is a well-appointed reception desk with a young lady sat behind it in a crisp white blouse with her hair piled up neatly on top of her head in braids. And she wears little not quite half moon spectacles, but heading in that direction, on a little chain. And as you come in and close the door behind you, she kind of peeks up over the reception desk and stands when she sees guests. And she says, "Good afternoon."
I was muted. Good afternoon. We are here to see Mr. Kirkby.
Do you have an appointment?
Unfortunately, no. We have been helping the police investigate. You must have heard of what happened, right?
But yes, of course. It is awful.
Yes, truly, truly awful. But we heard that the Kirkbys may have been those to find the body, and we would like to confirm what they saw.
But you don't have an appointment?
I mean, we're here on police business. I feel an appointment system is a bit archaic and does not fit this scenario exactly.
You know what's coming, don't you, Quentin?
God damn it.
Now, before you do this
Flash
roll,
baby blues.
I was about to say, before you do this roll, is anyone going to help? Seeing as you have just sort of borne witness to, like, you know, you were all there at the door with the maid and saw how that didn't seemingly land fabulously.
Morton is going to try and help.
I think Dagmar... Can only one person help? Because Dagmar was always going to help as well.
Okay, lovely. In that case then, Quentin.
Mm-hmm.
You can roll either manipulation or inspiration, I don't mind which, and you can do so with a +1 modifier.
Okay. I literally write the plus, or do you just write a 1?
Just 1.
Okay. Please, 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 please. Come on, Blake. Why?
Okay.
These guys hate me.
It
so
is-
much.
Right.
It is-
It's
Jesus.
fucking rigged.
It is
Oh.
at this point that I will remind you that you can
I can push rolls.
a roll. To push a roll, you need to take a condition, depending on what the roll is. So for manipulation, it will be a mental condition, and then you can roll the dice again.
I'm gonna have to do it because we need to talk to someone, and I feel angry works a little here.
But if you fail with what you're saying, can Dagmar not follow up with a slightly more abrupt form of manipulation, or is that basically just trying to force the roll through?
Well, so in this particular instance, you're trying to convince her to let you in because you are working with the police, and that is what the manipulation roll is for.
Okay.
If it fails, your only other option is to convince her to let you in for a different reason. What?
If you want to try, I'm happy to.
What are you gonna do, Quentin?
Well, yeah, I'm willing to try and suggest a different reason for wanting to talk to him about this investigation, but again, that might be fudging it.
I feel like you could still try that, but I think he would try first. I feel like thematically he'd try the old try for the second time today. It apparently works because of the police officer. The name's Quentin Ludensberg. I don't know if you've read about the recent cases. I will take a mental condition, and now, please, don't mess with me. Do I still get the modifier?
Yep.
Oh my god.
You see her eyebrow raise up, and she says, "Detective Ludensberg."
The one and only.
Yeah, the one and only.
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. I never thought I would have this opportunity. I read all your cases, your powers of deduction. They're exemplary.
Thank you. It is truly my honor to meet you.
Well, you are most kind. Please take a seat, and I will go and let Mr. Kirkby know that you are here. And she gestures over to some comfortable-looking seats that are clearly the fabric is a woolen fabric, and you get the sensation that it's, this is one of their little, we made this wool little pieces, and there's a little table with a little vase with some dried flowers in it. And she motions for you to sit as she I'm going to say scurries to describe her. She scurries out from behind the reception desk and disappears through a door on the side.
As she has.
Go on.
No, that's so fine. You were about to say we're left alone, so as soon as she's sort of gone, he'll just sort of sigh and be like, "I do hate pulling that card out. It makes me feel like a bit of an ass, but sometimes it does get results."
Yes, it's probably not going to work everywhere we go, especially the further we go away from the major cities. But hey, it's worked today.
1 out of 2.
Okay.
Let's hope the master of the house is a little bit more receptive to our conversation.
We can hope. During this whole sort of thing, when we're meeting people here, I'm keeping an eye out if anyone is, if you see a little glimpse of red on a shirt sleeve or a little cut peeking out from. Or someone wearing what seems to be unseasonably cold clothes if it's really hot in here and someone's like head to toe in winter gear.
Of course. You hear the sound of the door opening as the receptionist comes back out. She goes, Mr. Kirkby will see you now. Please follow me. And she leads you into a corridor, a nice wood-panelled corridor. And there are about three doors that you see that lead off of this corridor, and each of them are a nice wooden door with a frosted glass window, and painted on each of the windows in black and gold lettering are names. And you see the receptionist leads you to the door that says Mr. Kirkby. And she knocks on the glass and she opens it a fraction and pokes her head in. And she says, Detective Ludensberg here to see you, sir. And you hear a voice from beyond say, all right, let it show him in. The room beyond is a very well-appointed office. It has a polished wooden floor, a very large lacquered wooden desk with a leather seat behind it. And in the seat there is a rather short and rotund looking gentleman in an expensive looking white shirt that in places has got the signs of strain, where this shirt may be just a little too small for Mr. Kirkby. The room smells of cigar smoke, and you can see there is a cigar sitting in an ashtray within easy reach. The desk has got a lamp, a leather writing tray, fancy pens and ink pots. There's like a little tiny A frame that says Mr. Kirkby on it. Behind him, he has a very large it's almost like a dresser almost. There is the bottom half of it is all drawers, and then the top half of it is shelves, and on the shelves there are what look to be accounts books. There are some old pieces of machinery that seemingly have been placed there as mementos, maybe, of the rise of this factory or this wool mill. And there is also on this dresser a silver tray with crystal glasses and a crystal decanter that has got a really deep amber liquid in it. That everything in this room kind of reeks of wealth and money in a showing off kind of way. And there are 2 chairs in front of the desk. As you walk in, Mr. Kirkby kind of looks at the 3 of you and says, and he says, you must be the famous Detective Ludensberg. And he says this at Morton.
No, sir. No, sir. This is Mr. Ludensberg. Quentin.
Really? I would never have guessed.
That is his greatest secret.
Of course. Blending in allows you to investigate those crimes, eh?
Yes, indeed.
And,
a pleasure to meet you.
Your counterpart. And he kind of gestures in a clearly Mr. Kirkby has immediately made hella judgments about Dagmar and kind of gestures almost dismissively in their direction as they ask you, Quentin, who they are.
Rude.
I like to think that was out loud. This is Dagmar, a very, very honoured friend.
Well, a friend of a famous investigator is more than welcome. Please take a seat. And he kind of gestures at the seating arrangement, but he just carries on. He picks up his cigar. So what did you want to talk to me about?
We heard that it was your family who found the poor deceased.
Someone give me a vigilance check. I don't mind who. It is going to be a group vigilance check. So whoever has the highest vigilance, I would suggest.
Mine is 0, so...
Mine is 1.
Mine is 6.
A 6.
Well, I got a 1 in that, but my logic is big. I've got big boy logic.
Oh, alright then.
Quentin does. Matt does not. Matt certainly does not.
Okay. All of you notice
Quentin
this.
does.
Mr. Kirkby picks up his cigar and brings it up to his face to take a drag off of the cigar. And all down his arm are scratches. As he takes the cigar and the kind of bittersweet smoke sort of pours out, as he says to you, "What? So what did you want to ask me?"
Oh. Trying not to skip a beat, just what was the date of the scene when you arrived? Here you had a shipment you were waiting for.
Yes, dyes. We were expecting a shipment of dyes yesterday evening that didn't arrive. So we popped by to see how the dyes were getting on. And that is where we found the front door was unlocked, and we were concerned about Benedictus. About Benedicta? She didn't answer the door. She's so prompt, so organised, so efficient. I've always admired that of that woman. Efficiency. But there she was. Dead as a doornail. Awful. A travesty. A ghastly crime.
And when you say we, who else was with you at the time?
My wife, Mrs. Kirkby.
I was so sorry to hear that she's been ill as well. Your wife.
Yes, it's most unfortunate.
When would you mind asking when about she fell ill?
It began a few weeks ago and has progressively got worse.
Did you not find other help to travel with you at such a late hour to collect a shipment? If your poor wife is so ill?
I would have gone alone, but my wife insisted that she visit Benedicta. The woman has certain skills. It's not just the production of dyes. She is learned in the herb craft. My wife was interested to know if maybe there was a tea that or some such. I don't know. I specialize in wool.
What exactly has your poor wife been afflicted with?
But I'm also not a doctor. But I think it's the vapors.
Wait, what's that?
It
Symptoms.
it's it's actually not a very flattering term.
Oh god.
The vapors is like a. It was traditionally used as a way of describing like women being emotional in
Oh.
a the vapors. And then over time it evolved into a like a sort of overexcitement. But in this era, it would be almost like saying lady hysteria. She's just got lady hysteria. It's that kind of quite chauvinistic.
Fair enough.
May I ask a question? I know it might not seem related. Do you have any children, by any chance?
Yes.
How many?
One.
And have they been unwell also?
Yes.
The same symptoms, or?
Quite different. But all will be sorted very soon. We have a specialist.
Yes, we heard you had called in extra help from the Hexiega. Is that for your child then?
In a matter of speaking, yes.
Did you ever try asking Benedicta to help if she is so learned in the herbal ways that she went to see for your wife?
She is learned in the law of plants and medicine. This affliction is quite beyond her.
Would you mind us asking whether your specialist is still within the town? And where he or they may be staying?
She is at the church.
Church. Thank you. We may need to speak to them as part of our investigation. But thank you.
Well, ask for Morganson. I didn't quite catch whether she was a miss or a Mrs. Quite remiss of me.
When you came in, where did you find Benedict? Where was the body? Just to refresh my memory.
Slumped over in a chair.
Did you notice anything else around the house or anybody else present?
No, it was just us and the poor unfortunate soul of the woman.
And did you, by chance, move to any of the other rooms?
Oh no, it's unseemly to rummage around another's house, especially someone who has passed on. We notified the police immediately.
Who in the police did you speak to?
Well, the captain, of course.
Other than the door being open when you arrived, unlocked, was there anything you thought strange? Any strange sounds? Any strange movement while you were there?
No, nothing of the sort. It is quiet as a tomb in there. I'm sorry, I have been quite rude. Would you like a drink?
Dagmar immediately accepts this.
And then you see this little moment where Mr. Kirkby's like, didn't really offer it to you, but I can't take it back because I didn't make it clear enough. Anyone else?
No, thank you, not for me.
No, thank you. I don't like to drink on a case. Very
Well,
kind.
of course. I don't like drinking if I'm in the mill. You know, you can fall afoul of that machinery. And as he says this, he gets up and he gets a crystal glass and he puts a slosh of whatever this amber liquid is and sort of slides it across the desk in Dagmar's general direction before turning to do a much larger slosh in a glass for himself. And then he sits down, and as he moves around and does these glasses, dishes out this whatever he's got, you've all noticed he's got scratches all down one of his arms. He has scratches down both of them.
Oh.
And he turns and sits back down in his chair. Now, Quentin, and I'm assuming Quentin has sat down. Who took the other chair at the desk?
My assumption was
Morton.
Morton did.
Okay.
Oh, Morton would have stood.
Just Quentin.
So it's just Quentin saying, Quentin, you are close enough. When he slides that glass across the desk in Dagmar's general direction, you get a much closer view of his arm. You are, if you had to put money, or you had to make a guess as to what caused those scratches all down his arms, you would say fingernails. And you wouldn't hesitate to make that guess. He plonks himself back in his chair and says, you know, I've quite forgotten where we were. Where were we? And he takes a good, draft of whatever this liquor is.
He loves to not drink in the middle.
In the mill.
So Dagmar just knocks back the contents of their glass.
It is like liquid fire in the most beautiful of ways. Like, this is quality liquor.
Music to Dagmar's ears.
Absolutely. This is the sort of thing that, bolsters souls.
So, like, obviously taking this drink back in a massive moment of satisfaction, Dagmar immediately poses the question, clearly seeing Mr. Kirkby take a big gulp of this as well, of, do you have many accidents with your machinery here?
No more than usual.
Is that how you injured your arms?
And he looks down at his arms, frowns a little bit, looks up at you, and says, "Yes, I am rather clumsy. This is why I'm better suited for running the business from the office."
So, are you saying that you don't work in the factory, so you didn't get those injuries from working in the factory?
No, I'm saying that I did get them, and that is why I'm better suited for the office. As my wife keeps telling me. Give the orders, don't steer the ship. That's what she says.
Do I get the impression that's a made-up story?
Give me...
His wife doesn't talk to him.
They haven't spoken in days.
Such a
Give me a... give me a manipulation check. It's like contested manipulation.
Oh! That's where all the sixes have been.
Morton,
Jesus Christ.
you have made it your business to know when people are lying to you. This man hasn't stopped lying to you since you walked through the door.
Brilliantly thrown my questioning. Brilliant, that's good. Just let me get this clear. Going back to the Benedictus house, you're saying to us that yourself and your wife went there, collect some dyes, or found out what's happened to your package of dyes. The door was unlocked. You went in, you saw the dead body, and you then reported it to the police. And at what kind of time was this?
All of that is correct. It must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Can I ask why you decided 4 o'clock in the morning was the best time to knock at a old lady's house? Surely, by the close of business, you would have been, questioning where the order was. I don't feel that it's the most sociable hour to wake up somebody.
It is when the mill begins. It is when we start working. So it makes perfect sense to chase up the order at the beginning of play.
And has you done this kind of thing before? And Benedictus would have been around at that time of the morning and willing to receive.
Is one of our main suppliers of wool dye. We have worked with her for many years.
Well, I don't know about yourself, Quentin, but I think I've asked enough questions so far of Mr. Kirkby. We will need to, I believe, speak to your wife at some point. Very, very soon.
That could be quite difficult. She is quite unwell.
I imagine leaving at 4 a.m. in her condition must have really knocked it out of her.
makes it even more of a need for us to speak to her sooner rather than later. If she's not very well, we should get this over with before she gets any worse, if that
Well,
may be the case.
maybe you should try tomorrow after she has had a good night's rest. This situation has made it only worse. You can imagine if you were already feeling under the weather to encounter such horror. It is bound to prey upon the delicacies of the female persuasions.
I don't know about yourself, Quentin, but I feel that maybe we should do this definitely before tomorrow. The sooner we do this, the better. We might have to go back and get the captain to make sure that we can carry out this questioning sooner rather than later.
I believe we should definitely.
I would rather you respected the health of my wife. The answers aren't going to go anywhere. Just patience and respect for those who are unwell. Rest is what she needs, not questioning.
Well, I feel, out of respect for the dead, that the questioning, they deserve us to go down every path and leave no stone unturned. I very much apologize that your wife has been ill over these weeks, but I must say that if she was well enough to check up on a die order, then surely 2 or 3 questions max won't even make her leave her bed. Will be, doable for someone who went across town in the early hours of the morning.
My wife is already unwell and has just been party to the discovery of a murder and a body. She needs rest, not questioning.
So you're sure it's a murder, then? Just to ascertain.
That is what the police are saying.
Let me put it to you a slightly different way. We appreciate your wife isn't well. However, gentle questioning from us, much like this has been today, is probably more preferable in your own home than being upheaved by the local police force and forced to leave her home for slightly more intense lines of questioning.
That is a rather inflammatory assumption that the police would upheave my wife. I am quite certain that they would respect her illness and let her rest.
Had much dealings with the police. They're not always known for the, respecting of illness, because, they are doing a very important job. Which I'm sure, if you were in the similar position, you would do everything you could to find out what had happened.
I am a great proponent of law and order, and I am fully invested and endorsing of the police's actions in keeping us safe. This is why I contribute to their payroll.
And this is why we must speak with your wife. And we promise we will be gentle and we will go at her pace.
Out of the question. Allow the woman some rest. If you were to question her now, you would get garble and nonsense. Hysteria. Not truth, not fact. That is what you need in this case. You must be patient and wait for those to recover so that you can get the truth. Sensible answers, not the ravings of someone in shock and horror.
Mr. Ludensberg, I propose we take this conversation to the captain and suggest that our attempts to rule out potential suspects has hit a roadblock. of some sorts. Perhaps they can arrange a formal warrant of some kind.
Oh, I agree. I feel Mr. Kirkaby has given us quite a insight into this case.
I would agree with that.
It was a pleasure to assist you.
Do be careful with your arms in the future. We wouldn't want to hear that you've tripped and fallen into your equipment again.
Yes, well, I will be avoiding mechanical wool combs for some time.
Then don't leave town. I will get off and walk out the door.
Okay.
Does he follow us out of his office, or do we just leave and head to the reception area?
He does not follow you out of the office at all. You are kind of expected to depart yourselves.
Can we see the wool mill at all? Can we see the workers, or can we see?
Nope.
Oh, do you have one of those windows?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. You can't see into at the mill at all, and actually you can barely hear it in here.
So are we on a corridor?
Yeah, it's a short corridor with 4 doors. 3 of them are the offices with names painted on the frosted windows in black and gold, and one of them is the door that is reception.
Out of
What are the
curiosity,
names
what
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the names on the doors?
So there's Anders, who is the second. So you've got Mr. Kirkby, then you've got Anders. There's no salutation to it, so it's sort of just out of context. It just says Anders, and then the third one says Foreman.
Okay.
Assume the foreman would be on the floor.
We could knock on the door and find out.
Just knock lightly on the foreman's door.
There is no response. There's no answer. There's also no sound from the other side of the door either.
Quite like to try and find a way down onto the mill floor. Just
Maybe
want to ask whether Mr. Kirkby has been working in the mill recently.
Maybe we can ask our friend at reception if we can just poke
That was
our
my
head in.
thinking. As we leave, I'm happy we could check the reception.
Let's do that.
As you spill into reception from this corridor, you see the receptionist sitting behind the desk, and she turns to look at you all and smiles at you, and she says, "I do hope you got what you were after."
Yes, it was quite enlightening. Thank you.
Lovely.
I was wondering, I've always wanted to see the inside of a wool mill. Would you be so kind as to take us on a quick glance in or something?
Oh, well, I couldn't possibly take you on a tour. I'm manning reception, but I could get the foreman if you were interested in seeing the inner workings of.
Of course, that would be wonderful. You have been very, very helpful, and we thank you for this.
Oh, thank you very much. It is my job, after all, as reception. Please take a seat, and I shall go and fetch the foreman. And she disappears through some more doors and reappears a little later on, and she has with her a much older gentleman with a very long grey beard that looks like he's got like a roller, and he's rolled it up underneath his chin and put a pin in it to keep it out of the way of the machinery. And he has grey hair and eyebrows to match, so much older gentleman, and he walks into the reception and kind of looks over, and he goes, "I hear you're after a tour."
That would be lovely.
Perfect. Well, follow me right this way. And he turns and begins to walk towards one of the doors that leads out of reception. And as he goes, and as you stand to follow, that is where we will call tonight's session.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Brilliant.
I've been elbows deep in the story and got excited and not noticed it's 25 past 11.
Yep.
I really hate that man. God.
I love the mean side of Quentin. It's like, don't leave town.
Yeah.
Matt has watched 1 or 2 cop shows in his time.
I thought you were going to hit it with an old school Columbo-esque. Just one more thing.
Oh, there was that horrifying moment of, do we mention the scratches, or do we, like, pretend we haven't seen and slap him with it later?
Enter Dagmar.
Enter Dagmar, who came in like a wrecking ball. Right, well, I'm going to say a huge thank you to our cast for this evening. Where are you? Over there. Huge thank you to the cast for this evening for all their amazing storytelling and character roleplay. You've been amazing on this investigation, and I cannot wait. I can't wait for more. And we'll do a quick rip round. So just remind us, who are you? Where can we find you? Who did you play? All of that sort of thing. Quentin, Matt.
Yes, hello. I am Matt. I play Quentin Ludensberg. My socials are in a bit of a mess at the moment, so next week I will have fixed my stuff up and hopefully have some names to give for them. I mainly lurk and post about Vaesen anyway, so, you know.
Fabulous. We don't mind lurking and posting about Vaesen. Morton,
Yeah.
Gus.
So I'm Gus, and I play Morton Thorsby, and you can look me up on socials, but you're not going to find a lot because I don't really post very much. So yeah, I just enjoy gaming, and it's been a real pleasure to be part of this. And thank you very much to you, Luke, for your DMing. It's really good. Really enjoying
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you along. I am deeply enjoying Morton and
Oh, yeah.
all that goes around this sassy servant that I'm very deeply amused.
Enjoying it.
Dagmar, Dan.
So yeah, I'm Dan. I play Dagmar. I'm also known on Twitch as Divin Inc. and can be found at twitch.tv/DivinInc I'm a variety streamer of various games. I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And yeah, it's been a pleasure so far taking part, and I want to second the thanks from Gus to our wonderful GM for a fabulous effort so far. And then I think it's a perfect opportunity to also lead to our fabulous moderator, a mutinous Mikey, who definitely you guys should all check out as well, who is also a fabulous moderator for the channel, but also a wonderful variety streamer on Twitch.
Who also is one of the shady cast of the society. I feel like we're shady now, all the shady cast. Yeah, who you will have seen in chapter 1. Definitely, please go and head over and check out our amazing streaming cast at Divin Inc. and Mutinous Mikey. I'm going to head over to the credit roll, so I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let you guys escape. We're going to say a huge thank you and a wave goodbye to our amazing cast. We will see you next week for more crazy adventures and investigation while I head over to the credit roll. So
Bye-bye.
wave from the cast.
Bye.
Bye.
And heading
What's that?
over to the thank you. Oh, heading over to the credit roll. Okay, so I'm just going to say a big thank you to a number of amazing people who have contributed and helped out to the Society stream. The first of which is Shusha for her amazing character art. All of the characters have had a custom portrait painted by the amazing Shusha, and you can see those in the intro videos and on our player tokens. Head over for more of her amazing and incredible talent and art on her Instagram at Shusha UK that you can see just now in the credits. She has just started an amazing Kickstarter for a new deck of tarot cards, each of which she is illustrating. Johan Egerkrans is the creator and the artist of the original Vaesen artbook, which is an absolutely stunning source book for all the sort of myths and legends that surround the Vaesen, and is the origin for the creation of the Vaesen RPG. You can head over to his website to have a look at some of his artwork and purchase the amazing art books that he has created. Free League Publishing are the amazing publishers for the game and the creators of the Year Zero Engine game system. Head over to their website to see more of their amazing game systems, including Vaesen, Alien RPG, and the Lord of the Rings RPG game. Roll20 was our virtual tabletop for this evening. So the virtual tabletop, character sheets, and the dice roller, you can head over to the website at roll20.net. And through Roll20, we have played the tabletop audio ambient soundtracks that you have heard all through this evening via the Roll20 jukebox. Kevin MacLeod is also available through the Roll20 jukebox and on the website at Incompetech, and has contributed some of the music and sounds for this evening, as well as tabletop audio. The maps that you saw were created by myself using the Dungeon Fog map making program, and all of the amazing assets that are available over there. Go check them out if you are a DM or GM to create your own incredible maps. The OBS overlays were created by me using the Valhyr runic translator to create all of the crazy runic things that you have seen on the overlays and in the intro video. And Music Maker Jam was used to create the intro music for said intro video. If you want to create your own music, head over there and you'll be able to use all of their amazing assets to create your own thing. I would like to say a huge thank you to all of our players this evening, but also to our viewers who watched us live on Twitch, and for those of you who are catching up on YouTube. We create all of these stories and the ridiculousness that goes on this evening just for you guys. And now on to probably one of the... I'm thinking maybe I should give up tabletop roleplay games, and I should just become a Twitch Claire audio Bluetooth headset listener where I get facts and interesting information from the voices inside my head. And I have some. I have some. I have some voices in my head, and they are giving me this. They're giving me some information right now. Some of the information I'm really not sure I should share with you. I might share on social media at a later date. So here we go. We are heading over for a raid. So we are. Oh, I've got a selection. Oh, what do we feel like?
A big three.
Oh my god.
Who's gonna win?
Oh, this is exciting. Oh, do you know what? We're going for these people. Right. We are heading over to DMDM underscore studio. DMDM. Oh, now you know I'm getting voices in my head. We are heading over to DMDM underscore studios, who are currently playing Lost Haven by Night, which is Vampire the Masquerade Requiem RPG. But more excitingly, according to the voices in my head, this is their episode 1. So let's go support them. I'm going to hit the button and see what happens. This doesn't always work. Let's see. Hey! Okay, we have success. Okay, we are raiding over to those guys over there. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to ping you over with those guys. We will be back next week for more of our investigation into this mysterious crime in Borgund. For now, I'm going to say thank you very much, and I hope you have an amazing week. And we will see you next Sunday for more adventures, excitement and intrigue and mystery and a little bit of horror in our society stream. So, thank you and good night.